something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
Well, howdy, folks. How are you? A little bit earlier, maybe a little bit later, depending on where you are. I've got no idea what time it is where I am at the moment, unless I do that. Maybe till, 5:30 or thereabouts. On my watch here, it says 5:20, which is weird because it hasn't changed time from Queensland. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe the watch is going wrong. I know there is a few other things that have happened around the world that are going wrong at the moment. There are a couple of things going right. Probably one of the better things that seem to be going right at the moment is this.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one 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 is above the law.
Oh, son of a bitch.
No one is above the law unless your name is Hunter Biden, it seems. This is the pardon that his father, President Joe Biden, issued yesterday in the last 24 hours or so, and everybody has been quite upset about it. I've only just recently watched a video that suggests that this probably wasn't a very smart move. Why? Because Hunter Biden has now been given blanket immunity for everything that he did from his days with Burisma all the way through to yesterday. So he can't be charged with anything. But what that also means is that he can be compelled to testify if his father is brought to court. He will then go to jail for as long as required if he refuses to testify, because when you have blanket immunity, you lose the ability to say, no, I'm not going to testify. So this could have been a misstep by Joe Biden. The whole thing is predicated on the fact that somebody has to take Joe Biden to court and try and get some sort of, assumedly about Burisma and the other business contacts that Hunter plumbed over 10 years trying to help the family funds. And they certainly managed to do that to the tune of close to $100 million or more. It's maybe a misstep that Hunter Biden has been given a blanket immunity, a pardon by his old man, something his father said he would never do only in June of this year. No, that'll never happen. I will not pardon. He will have to go through the court system. Bullshit, blah, blah, blah. Well, you can see how well that's worked out. Not terribly flash at all. So, will the Trump administration bring charges against Biden Sr.? I think that's a pretty good guess. I think there will be something that is, a number of cases, I believe, will be brought against him. And Hunter would figure in at least two of them that I can think of. So it'll be an interesting turn of events to see how the Bidens front up after January 20, because I'm sure Trump will be writing some rather interesting edicts as soon as he is sworn in on the 20th. In fact, I had a little bit of a premonition today. At the inauguration, the presidents generally stand up and give an inauguration speech. I had a little premonition that Trump was going to stand there and say, right, well, let's get to work, and turn around, walk off and take his whole team with him and go straight to the White House and start working. I wouldn't put it beyond them. That's pretty cool. Trump himself is off to Notre Dame over the weekend, going to Paris, France, for the opening of the Notre Dame Cathedral. Of course, it was burnt down some years ago. They've been rebuilding it and done a magnificent job of it. They have even put real bells back in the bell towers. Most bells have been removed from churches these days. Why? Because of the frequency. The bells in the past used to be all about frequency for the people. Frequency, not the tone of the bell, so to speak, not the fact that it was ringing you to church. It was there for health benefits. And there is a lot of interesting background material on bells and the frequencies that they emit, and just how healthy those frequencies are for people to be around. So Notre Dame is getting new bells. It is not the first time it's got new bells. Notre Dame, of course, being extremely old and has had a couple of conniptions in its past. But new bells, new spire, well, new cathedral, full stop. And Trump is turning up there, which will be interesting for the conversations that he will no doubt have with French President Macron. The French, of course, not yet involved in providing weapons for Ukraine, but they are involved in providing bodies. And certainly some weapons, maybe guns and smaller things, but they're not putting in missile systems yet, unlike the UK and Germany, who are feeding their respective missile protection systems or attack systems, intermediate range missile systems, into Ukraine and allowing Ukraine to fire them. That didn't work out so well, as we all saw with Vladimir Putin testing his intermediate range ballistic missiles with the, can I just say, extremely effective multiple warheads. Now, those multiple warheads are traveling at hyperspeed. They cannot be stopped. And if you've seen the video, it really does look otherworldly. And I guess it's what rods of God would really look like. Now, the missiles that he's using in Russia, Putin's missiles, are not nuclear weapons. They are kinetic energy weapons, which is what I was explaining at the front. That's what the thing at the front of this show was all about. It gives you the breakdown and the details on what those weapons actually are and how they operate. They are kinetic energy weapons, but they are traveling at 7 to 9 times the speed of sound when they hit the ground. They are ground penetrating, and they penetrate a bloody long way. The good thing about them is that they don't leave a huge amount of debris on top. I guess if they were ploughing through a building and then going through into the ground underneath that building, that might make a bit of a difference to the building, but no radiation, because no nukes. And that is Russia's way of saying, well, hey, listen, we don't need nukes to hit you and hit you very hard anywhere practically in the world. And Putin is waving that flag pretty wildly. Chairman Xi from China has also flagged some rather interesting exercises happening with Russia, but they're over on the Chinese border with Russia. So it doesn't mean that they can't all jump on an Antonov and be on the other side of the country in however many hours that would take. But no plans for that at the moment. Of course, the Chinese are trying to sweeten us up here in Australia as well. Anthony Albanese today is as happy as a kid with 2 dicks. He has been crowned, let's say, by Xi as Australia's best leader and the most trade-savvy leader we've ever had, by the sound of it. You believe that? Me either. But apparently at the side of the G20 summit, Albanese was able to get a side meeting with Chairman Xi Jinping, and in that meeting, they were able to restore trade to Australia, and not just a little bit of it, but all of it. Rock lobster fishermen around Tasmania have not been allowed to sell their catch into China now for a couple of years. Wine, I think, has been on the banned list. Australian beef has been on the banned list. Some very slow movements over the last 12 months or so has seen a couple of abattoirs relicensed to send meat back into China. But now all the bans on all the abattoirs that were previously working with contracts into China have been lifted. And Albanese is crowing that that deal is worth somewhere around $90 to $100 million per year. And he's expecting record sales in 24-25 going into China. Well, of course he is. The question you need to ask yourself is, why has Xi Jinping allowed that to happen? Okay, back when we had a liberal federal government, this is when the bans were introduced. And that was because somebody in the Liberal government decided to say, hey, China, you really shouldn't be doing something, which China really shouldn't have been doing. And they crack the shits. The only power that they have is trade. They crush you because they do buy a lot of stuff from Australia. Well, they stopped buying iron ore. They stopped buying coal. They stopped buying food. They stopped buying wine. They stopped buying everything. And of course, our producers lost those markets, a very lucrative market. Well, they've been returned. Now, I know that's going to make a lot of people happy, but what has Albanese had to trade to get that to happen for our producers? That's the frightening thing for me. I don't think that without Anthony Albanese in power in Australia, the Americans will trust Australia at all in any alliance. And who could blame them? Particularly with Trump coming in January of next year, I can't see anybody in the Labor Party being able to maintain any kind of reasonable relationship with the US at all. And there are tariffs that will be leveled against Australian exports going into America by Donald Trump, and they could be as high as 25%. So what we get given back to us in one hand seems to be taken away in another. But it's not so much the trade that interests me, it is the military support or lack thereof that might be coming our way or might be shown by us towards our American brethren who we've signed up to be an ally with for the last 70 plus years. What is going to happen there? Well, Albanese is doing the best he can to destroy that sort of relationship that we have with the US. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. I'm not really prepared to comment on that just yet. It's not necessarily a great thing if we're going to align ourselves with China, but it will bring a certain level of prosperity to us all. And particularly if you're a producer who is putting stuff out into the market. Now, that will help, but we have so many other things going wrong with our economy that I doubt it's going to make that much difference. If you think you're going to get more money back in your pocket, I think you're going to be very wrong. Today is the 3-year anniversary to the day that Anthony Albanese came out and said, if you vote for us, we'll make sure that your electricity bill is $275 less. Well, it's not. I'm sure you're aware your electricity bill has gone up probably $1,000 a year. At least. You haven't got that $275 off like Albanese promised 3 years ago in his election promise to get into the position he's now in. How stupid were people to believe this fool would do that? And honestly, it amazes me how anybody would ever vote for a Labor Party again. They are a pack of liars. Mind you, the Liberal Party are not much better, but they are a pack of liars. They will short sheet the bed at every opportunity, and they will nail Australians at every opportunity. Why? Because they're not working for us. They're working for a whole different corporation, folks. And I just need as many people, I know you are awake enough to know that, but we need you to start telling some of the people around you that aren't aware and try and explain to them just how deeply this goes and what they can do to help. And there is a fair bit they can do to help. Getting rid of this government would be a great start. Not electing a Liberal government would be an even better start when the next election comes next year. And that election is likely to happen in March, I believe, but it could happen anywhere up till June, I think. But I'm hearing whispers that March is what seems to be the go. So who knows what's going to happen there? Interesting times for us all. I've got another little bit of interesting news that I want to share with you today. And one of the most interesting things to have come out of our political landscape in the last little while is Pauline Hanson's Please Explain videos. Now, we've seen them, I think, now for a couple of years, the Please Explain videos. They come out, they take the piss out of the parliamentarians and do it with a brilliant attitude, a brilliant sense of Australian humour. And I can honestly say it is really messing with the other politicians' minds. They don't like speaking about it. In fact, they ignore it. completely. And if you bring it up with them, they're not terribly energetic to speak about it. Well, next year, that's going to change. Why? Because this is coming. Please explain the movie. Yeah, a full-length, in the cinema, feature film starring all the One Nation crowd and everybody else in politics in Australia, and it will be a piss take of immense proportions. Now, it's led to believe they're going to go into start writing that over Christmas. What better time with a few beers under yourself to go and get that going? But I got to say, it might be the first thing that can drag me back to the movies in I don't know how long. I'd be interested to go and check that one out. Very much so. Okay, let's have a look in the chat before I have to run off. We are doing a show tonight, folks, but because of the nature of where we're at, we're actually in a pub, a country pub, a small country pub. And the rooms available for me to actually sit down and do a show are limited. And I don't want to interrupt, the local business in the front bar, which is where we were looking at doing things. So I've decided I'll do this show early. I will go and record some stuff with the folks who turn up tonight, and we will bring that to you in tomorrow night's show. There's a few reasons for it, but I won't go into them here, but there's a few reasons for it. Rest assured, though, Pinnaroo tonight at the Golden Grain, if you're looking to come in, we'll probably get going in about, I need to go and have a shower. So we'll probably get going in about an hour or thereabouts. So look forward to seeing you all there. Harm. Now, Harm's in the chat. Mate, I came around to see you before you left Wackety Creek, and I was there at 8 o'clock. You were gone. So I gather you headed off just a little earlier than predicted, but I hope you had a safe trip, mate, and I really loved catching up with you at Wackety Creek. It was a great event over the weekend, the My Place Victoria campout, and thank you to all the ladies that put that together. Of course, if you want to go and check out the ladies that put it all together, you can go over to our FBN online site on YouTube, FBN Media Online. Vince is over the back here behind me. You can stick a hand over my shoulder and wave if you like. You'll have to get a bit closer. There you go. So what was the thing with that?
FBN Media Online.
FBN Media Online. On YouTube, and there is an interview there with the girls. Not all of them who organised it, but three of the main ones got together, and it's a great little chat if you want to check that out. And there is an upload on the Voice of Freedom page if you haven't seen that either. That is the OPA presentation, the Our Place Australia PMA presentation. Now, if you don't know what a PMA is and you'd like to learn more about PMAs and how they can potentially be used going forward, Marcel and Darren really did a short précis of how it all works. There is a lot to it, but what they did over the weekend was designed basically as a bit of a taster to give people an idea of what they've got coming and the education that they have planned around it. Their plan, while detailed, extremely detailed, requires us to be educated, not just have a vague idea. We need to know ourselves very, very well. The PMA puts you in the private, and if you don't understand what that means, then maybe you should watch that video on FBN Media Online on YouTube and give it a like and subscribe to FBN Media Online, folks. In the course of my travels here through South Australia, we've decided that Vince is now going to run that, and you are going to see a lot more people popping up on FBN Media Online. Today, we caught up with Wade Nordhausen and had a bit of a chat at a coffee shop, and he will be part of what we are doing there too. Truth Seekers will be part of it. There are more people that we'll be coming on board and we'll be speaking to in the next few weeks. But Vince ostensibly will be running this, and it is an opportunity for you to become a citizen journalist if you so desire. If you've got an event coming to your town and you want to get a bit of promotion for it, then all you got to do is stand in front of your phone, record a little video and send it to us. And we'll be able to post that up in our community section on the FBN Media site. So please be involved with that. We are building this for you. It is a one-channel stop, if you like, where you'll be able to find as many of Australia's freedom fighters as we can convince to come on. And it's not about money or giving us a website earn or anything like that. All we will do is take links from their own websites and post those in our own channel or in our own chats and in our own channel, which will send you to their channel. So the monetization will go to them, not to us. It seems only fair as they're the ones producing the content. However, it will give you one place to go and view multiple Australian freedom fighters or freedom talkers or whatever you want to call us. And you will be able to use your own discernment. I'm sure there'll be some you follow, some you don't. And that's up to you. We need you to get out of it what you can from who you can, and we need you to contribute as well. We need to know what's going on in your world, if we can help, if there is something we can do. And this is something I've been speaking about over the weekend with the My Place Victoria crew. A lot of people keep saying, oh, look, we're getting into this space, and community living is another great space, same kind of feel. Everybody has these great feelings for coming together as community, being one in a community and working with each other to solve problems. What I see, though, is a lot of people who say that, and I honestly do think they believe it, but none of us have actually been taught how to do it. The only way that I see us being able to raise our vibration, lift our level, is if we start caring about others before we care about ourselves. I don't mean maybe before, but more than ourselves. We need to make sure that those around us are okay. And if you can do that for the people around you, then they will return that to you. You'll be okay. Our community will look out, reach out, and protect those people. And protect, nurture, promote. But we have to start working for each other rather than for ourselves. And if we've got each other and our community and our future in the forefront of our minds, then it won't matter what they do to individuals. It just won't matter. We will be looking after everybody. So if you can look after someone, rest assured, someone will look after you. I think that's a great way of being able to help raise our vibrations, and seem to get a good reaction over the weekend. If you'd like to leave your comments, by all means, I'd love to know your comments, and also let us know where you're commenting from. Which part of Australia or the world are you in? Because that came up over the weekend. We were wondering how diverse the audience actually is. So please, folks, if you could, in the comments, like when the show is posted, or if you want to put them up in the chat here. I think the chat here disappears after a while. But would love to know in the comments. There you go. The IT guru behind me says you've got to put it in the comments. Love to know where you're from, so we can get a bit of an idea of the reach across Australia. And I don't for one moment believe we have a full reach across Australia. I think there are large black spots, and we need to be able to identify them for us all, for the likes of Billboard Battalion and Wade, for the likes of the 832 crew and Michael, for the likes of Guru, me, and others who want to go on the road and want to talk to you, hear your stories, and find out about your life and how you've been able to improve your community, come together with others, and generally push what we are doing forward. We want to help promote that, and by promoting that, we may be able to get more people involved with it. We do need to reach critical mass at some point, and there was a great discussion on the weekend with Ulikai about what that critical mass might look like. Do we need quantity or do we need quality? And Ulikai raises a very good argument that it is the quality of the resistance that we need to put up. I would also argue that we need a lot more people to stand up. So if you can be part of that, we'd love to have you. And I know I'm preaching to the converted here. So this is where we need to start empowering you to go out and speak to those who aren't converted. I know I do it on a daily basis, and I've been able to bring a few more eyes wide open to our side of the argument. You don't do it with an argument. You don't do it with a fight. You don't do it bombastically. You just try and educate. You can't force this shit down somebody's throat, right? That just drives them away. Instead, you've got to be a little bit smarter and coach them into it, so to speak. And we're going to be looking at ways of how we can help you do that in the near future. And hopefully with FBN Media Online, we'll be able to show you a little bit more about how to do that. Ain't that the truth, brother? Hard to keep infiltration from happening. Well, of course, it is very hard. But if you use your discernment, it's very easy to spot. And those people who want to come in and fracture the relationships that you have in your community are the people you don't need necessarily in your community. They could be the division that is keeping everybody apart. So got to work on that idea. Lakes Entrance, Margot, lovely part of the world. And had I been in the bus for this trip instead of a one-armed bandit, I would be coming back through Lakes Entrance in a couple of days as I headed back north. Unfortunately, the big silver bird with no propellers is what brought me here and is what will be taking me home from Adelaide on Monday. So we've got a few days left here in South Australia. Like I say, we'll catch up tonight with the folks here in Pinnaroo. Pete from Pinnaroo has given us, and I can possibly show you. How do we do the donations online, Vince? Tonight, we're going to run a raffle because Pete from Pinnaroo is a bit of a bullion boy. And he has given me to raffle this evening a 1 ounce bullion bar. Can you see that? Maybe not. There. Now, this isn't legal tender. This is pure bullion. And still worth about $55, but for a donation to the Voice of Freedom, you can go in the draw to win that. If nobody turns up tonight, we might run it as a donation thing online and keep track of everybody. Maybe the first 100 people who donate something, we can put 100 numbers up and draw something out. So we'll figure it out. It may go tonight, though, depending on how many people turn up. It could just be Vince, me, and Peter having a game of pool over a beer. Anything's possible. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. Always happy to sit down and talk with new people, but always happy to meet a lot more, including this bloke, Tony, who is in the wonderful part of Melbourne, Bayswater, beautiful part of the world. Thanks for coming up over the weekend, Tony. I'm sorry I didn't get to spend as much time with you as I would have liked. My time was otherwise taken by, a mad Polish family. That's all I want to say. A mad Polish family abducted me for the weekend and did awful things to me with things like cherry vodka and honey bourbon. I've had the first hangover I've had in 20 years, folks.
Not to mention he serenaded the whole caravan park.
There may have been some singing. It might have been at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it might have been right across from the caravan park owner's house. It was a nice night, but yes, there was a bit of singing and a little bit of carry on. Aussie Sue, God love you. Thank you so much for the donation, and I am going to put your name, write Aussie Sue's name down, Vince. I'm going to put your name down on a piece of paper tonight. So there you go, folks. If you do a donation like Aussie Sue has through the thing, what's that called? Then we can write your name down on a piece of paper tonight, and we're going to draw out the winner. There is I think it's a 100 spot wheel downstairs, which we could probably put 100 spots on and 100 names on. So if you want to, before I end the show tonight, do that, or send me a text, or send me an email, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. Oh, you've got to send money before we can do that, don't you? Yeah, sorry, Vince. I'm being prompted from my shoulder. But feel free, if you'd like to be part of it, you can donate in this chat now, or I don't know. We'll give you another opportunity. I think that's a great thing that Pete has given us today. And we're out at his property today. I've got to say, if you're ever in the market for a 4-wheel drive, he might be able to help you out. Cheap one.
Yeah.
He's got a few out there, along with some of the most magnificent garlic you have ever had. Pete gave us a box of garlic to go and use at the markets over on the weekend. And it sat in the car when we drove, whatever it was, 5.5 hours from here to Echuca. It sat in the boot. And boy, when we opened the boot, it was just spectacular. The smell, like almost roast garlic. Well, we might have a little bit of that left, but you're not getting it. Vince is taking it home. But if you are up for some garlic, Pete from Pinnaroo might be able to help you out. I don't know if he's got any left. He may have sold it all by now. He is a big cropping farmer, so unfortunately, as with quite a number of the crops in this area, some of them have failed this year, so it's not going to be a great year for the farmers in this area. And hopefully we can uplift them a little bit tonight with the show. Speaking of that, I better go off and go and have a shower. So
I was just going to say, wind it up.
Wind it up. All right, so Aussie Sue, you're in the draw for this tonight, and if you win it, I'll be sending it to you. Thank you so much. Everybody else, unless you do it really quick, it's been fun, but I'm going to have to disappear off. We will do another show tomorrow. I'm not sure exactly from where and whence it will be. It could be at this stage from Narracourt. And we may do a couple of other interesting little things in Narracourt. There's a set of caves there that are worth exploring. And we might go and have a look there tomorrow, do a little video and show you that. We did go to the port of Echuca yesterday and have a bit of a look through there. Unfortunately, it was mostly closed. And the paddle steamer, for some reason, must have been out on a run. We did hear it, didn't we? Yeah, we heard it, but we never saw the paddle steamer.
There's a little bit of clips that we've got that I'll be putting up on FBN.
Oh, there you go. Vince has taken a few little videos on his phone for that, and he's going to post those up on FBN Media Online. So you'll be able to see that too. If you haven't, then please, Sunflower, you send me a text. I'll just put your name in regardless. Have a look. If you're ever going to Echuca, beautiful place to holiday, very busy during the holiday time. Just want to say the Murray River, very popular place to go with Victorians. But if you can go outside of the holiday season, you may enjoy it and find parking a lot easier in the town. In fact, I'd forgotten, or I don't think I'd realised just how big Echuca has become now. We had to drive pretty much from one end of it to the other today. And it was much larger than I remember, much, much larger. And just across the river in Moama, wow, the clubs, the caravan parks and whatnot that are over there, absolutely brilliant place to go and have a bit of fun. Going to Echuca in March, are you, Michelle? All right, well, that's brilliant. After SA, I hope you enjoy it. And who knows, I loved it so much I might be back in March myself. Oh, Margot, don't worry. We'll get you next time, or we'll put you in the draw next time. Don't sweat it. I wish you could be part of it, but I can only do what I can do. By silver, they said. It'd be fun, they said. Yes, they did say that. Chris, if you are buying silver, now is a good time to do it. 47.24, I think Vince told me earlier today. Gold is back down under 4,100, but only just. And it has been quite a volatile market, jumping up, jumping down, jumping up, jumping down. That is what the markets do. However, the Bitcoin market, the crypto market, seems to be doing some pretty wild things at the moment too. And very briefly, I think crypto is down, Bitcoin is down slightly this morning to what it was yesterday. I think it's down to 95,000 US. But what has taken a good kick is XRP. And if you are invested in XRP and you manage to get in at, say, 60 cents, it's nearly $3 now. You're doing okay.
$2.54.
Oh, it's heading down as well. $2.54, says Vince. And that's an immediate update from his little pickle machine that tells you all that sort of stuff. I don't understand it. I hope you do. I wish you all the best with it. Folks, we love you dearly. Got to go and have a shower because Vince smells really bad. Oh, that's right. I'm the one having the shower. I smell really bad. And we've got to get downstairs for the game of pool and possibly meeting one or two Pinnaroo farmers. Enjoy your day. Love your work. And if you are on the roads...
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!